Paul Bloom, Just Babies, The Origins of Good and Evil. Welcome to the captivating summary of Just Babies, The Origins of Good and Evil by Paul Bloom. This journey will take you through a fascinating exploration of the innate moral feelings and judgments in babies and young children, illustrating that even at a tender age, they have a sense of right and wrong. We'll also discover how emotions, such as compassion and empathy, contribute to our morality, and the powerful role that customs and religious communities play in shaping our moral behavior.
Baby morality. Researchers have found that babies as young as 9 months old possess an innate sense of morality. In a series of experiments that involved showing babies images of shapes, with and without eyes, and a ball, researchers discovered that babies have expectations of how the ball would react to helpful or hindering shapes and characters. During the third experiment, researchers replaced geometric shapes with three-dimensional puppets to determine which puppet the babies preferred. The results demonstrated that almost all the babies reached for the helpful puppet, indicating their innate sense of distinguishing good from bad. Young children's innate moral behavior. Babies and young children show signs of moral behavior, such as responding to others' pain, trying to soothe them, and helping others without being prompted. Babies cry significantly less hearing a recording of their own crying, showing that it's another person's suffering that elicits their reaction. Developmental psychologist Carolyn Zahn-Waxler found that when young children saw others acting as if they were in pain, they reacted by soothing them. This innate ability of soothing behavior seems to be an evolved trait that our primitive ancestors also displayed. Young children try to be genuinely helpful even without being prompted, as experiments conducted by psychologists Felix Warnken and Michael Tomasello have shown. Even very young children want to help out, indicating that babies and young children demonstrate some kind of moral behavior. The equality bias in children. Children have an innate sense of equality and fairness that even extends to the distribution of resources, according to the experiments by psychologists Christina Olson and Elizabeth Spelk. The study found that young children always allocate resources equally among everyone, whether it's a friend, sibling, or a stranger. In fact, even if they were assured that no one would know, they would rather throw away resources than give them out unevenly. These experiments show that children have a strong bias towards equality, which could be advantageous in creating a more just society. The role of compassion in morality. Compassion is a crucial aspect of morality, but it is not always enough. Lack of compassion can indicate a psychopath, as demonstrated by Abigail Marsh's research. Healthy individuals prioritize compassion over their own pain and vanity. However, compassion alone cannot lead to moral decisions, as shown by Daniel Batson's experiments. Feeling empathy towards a particular person in need should not result in unfair treatment to others. Thus, while compassion is necessary for morality, it must be balanced with fairness and impartiality. Empathy and compassion. Empathy and compassion are often used interchangeably but have different meanings. Empathy is the process of putting oneself in another person's shoes, while compassion is the desire to alleviate their suffering. Empathy impulses can make us kinder, allowing us to understand others' situations and help them cope. However, empathy alone is not enough for moral behavior. The case of a woman who lived near Nazi death camps shows that even though she had empathy, she could still accept inhumane acts if she didn't witness them. Compassion, on the other hand, inspires action and motivates us to change the world for the better. Punishing unfair behavior. The desire to punish unfair behavior is a fundamental part of human moral social feelings that is present from a very young age. An experiment with 4 players shows that people prefer to punish those who withhold their cash, even if it means diminishing their own funds. 80% of the participants in the experiment spent money to punish those who played unfairly. In another study with toddlers, the children exhibited a desire to punish the puppet that behaved badly and reward the one that helped. Punishing those who behave unfairly even at a personal cost indicates that the need for justice and fairness is an innate trait among humans. The power of disgust in moral judgment. During the Holocaust, the SS escorts made Jewish prisoners squat on trains due to the lack of toilets. As a result, German passengers expressed their disgust and dehumanized the prisoners. Disgust has the potential to drive people towards evil as it impacts our moral and compassionate judgment, making us harsher. An experiment by Talia Whatley and Jonathan Haidt showed that subjects who were hypnotized to feel disgust judged mild moral transgressions more harshly. Similarly, psychologists Eric Helzer and David Pizarro found that people who were near a hand sanitizer dispenser tended to be more conservative and stricter in judging actions seen as sexually impure. The reason behind this is the connection between physical and spiritual cleanliness. People reminded of purity due to cleanliness cues react more harshly towards transgressions. Overall, disgust can have a powerful impact on our moral judgment, making us meaner towards others. Altruism and family bonds. The natural selection theory explains why humans tend to prioritize their family over others. Altruistic behavior towards relatives indirectly benefits one's genes and increases evolutionary chances. Emotional bonds between family members are regarded as moral obligations, and it is normal to judge indifferent parents as immoral. The power of the kinship metaphor brings people together, and some societies even consider unrelated individuals as blood relatives. The article also presents the lives of homeless gay teenagers in New York who form fictive families to fill the void of lost biological ones. Division through belonging. Humans have an innate desire to belong to a group, leading to the creation of in-groups and out-groups. The Sharif Tajful experiment of 1954 showed how easily warring communities could be created through the formation of group identity. Children prefer those who are familiar to them, and racism is learned through our social environments. Racially mixed schools have a positive impact on reducing racism, whereas segregation creates an environment conducive to racism. The powerful role of customs in shaping morality. Our customs and traditions significantly impact how we perceive morality. The Greek historian Herodotus shows how what is deemed acceptable varies across cultures and has the power to shock outsiders. Customs not only impact our behavior, but they are also passed down to the younger generations, making certain practices difficult to eradicate. Even seemingly automatic behaviors like tipping for good service are shaped by customs. Our perception of morality changes as our customs evolve over time. Religion and morality. Contrary to popular belief, attending religious services is linked to moral behavior rather than religiosity itself. It's possible for an individual to display more moral behavior through charity despite not believing in God. However, religious attendance can have downsides and lead to hostile attitudes towards other religions. Furthermore, religious belief doesn't cause moral belief, it merely reflects it. Most people become less accepting of other faiths in the face of external threats. Nonetheless, people's interpretation of their religious belief changes with the community's changing conditions.
As we delve into the world of just babies, it becomes apparent that babies and young children are capable of moral judgments and demonstrate moral behavior. Compassion and empathy play significant roles in our moral feelings, but alone, they are not sufficient to make moral judgments. The importance of customs and the social aspects of religious communities further define our notions of right and wrong. Clearly, morality is shaped by various factors and sources, with its roots traced back to even our earliest stages in life.